Aw, shit. Here we go again.
Welcome to the Sloppy Book Club podcast. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Celeste, and welcome to season 3, episode 18. This is going to be our summer wrap-up episode. So we're not going to talk about all our books
No.
that we read this summer because that would take too long, but we have some questions for each other, and we will have books based on that. So yeah, tune in, grab your drink, get comfortable. This is our summer wrap up. Jenny, do you have a drink?
I do have a drink. So I actually have wine today. Weird.
Ooh, nice.
It's been a long time. This is a Moscato Terra Sicilian. I'm hoping because it's a Moscato that it'll be good. It
Yeah,
was either this
usually
or a
it's
red
on the
wine.
sweeter side.
Oh, that's not bad.
Nice.
Winning.
Good. I don't have anything today. Sorry.
It's all good.
Which, it's a good thing. So
You've had a
it's
busy
been
week, so
a very busy week. So I'm like, let's down it a little bit. I don't need any drinks. So let's get into this. So
Mhm.
starting off, do you want to do like your stats first and then go into your top 3? Or
Top 3 of like how many books in each genre.
oh my God, is it each genre?
Or top 3 genre. Is that what
Oh,
we're
is
doing?
it top?
I couldn't
Oh,
remember
I
what
thought it
we
was
were
like
doing.
top. I thought it was top 3, like your
Okay,
top
so
3.
how about
Oh
okay, let's
no, it is top 3 genres. I
yes,
read
top
that
3
wrong.
genres. That's okay. I'll go and then you can kind of
Okay.
go along after that. All right, so this
Yeah, that's
summer
fine.
so far, I've read 21 books, one of them being a DNF. So my top 3, first one is fantasy. 8 books were
Mhm.
fantasy. Horror and thriller, I grouped them together and I had
Okay.
6. And
Wow.
then there was a tie between romance and memoirs, which is really weird for me. But the
Yeah.
only reason is because one of my DNS was romance. So I had 3 of each.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite. So I know for sure. So out of the 20, I know a majority of them were romance. Like I read so many romance
I'm
books
sure I
this
could have
summer.
guessed.
So, so that was easy. So yeah, top 3, pretty much romance. And then I would say next would probably be the horror and thrillers because that was what we were trying to do this summer was read a
Yeah.
little bit more of that. And then I guess last would be dark romance. Dark romance and probably fantasy. I think I've only read maybe 2, and one
Mm.
of them was an arc. So it was very
Okay.
low on the fantasy side, like high fantasy, I would say.
Yeah.
But I would think like thriller, paranormal would be second, but top is definitely romance. Like
Yeah.
that's probably gonna be for the rest of my life.
Probably. I actually haven't read any dark romances this summer,
I
which is
read one
surprising.
for sure. Yeah, for sure it
And
was
how
fun.
the majority of all that, like what were your how did you read them? Physical, ebooks, audiobooks?
So for me, a majority were ebooks. 9 were ebooks, 7 were physical, and 4 were audiobooks.
Mine was
Yeah.
9 physical, 5 ebooks, and 7 audio. I did a
Nice.
lot of audio this summer.
I'm trying to do more audios. I think going back to work, that would be what I'll be doing because now me and Eric will be at different schools.
Hmm,
So I'll have that time to actually listen to something on the way to work, which I'm not fortunate
got
to
it.
do a lot of the time because I got kids in the car. But now I'll be able to drop him off and actually listen to something. But I'll
Nice.
have to make sure it's off by the time I pick him up.
It just
You
doesn't
know
turn
how
on.
sometimes your phone can just like sync
Yeah.
automatically?
Hmm. It happens to me all the time because like I'll listen to an audiobook while doing dishes, and when Mike comes home, it stops working and I'm like, oh shit, he's home. So it starts playing in the car. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Has
Every
there
freaking
ever been like a time where there was like a spicy scene and that's
I don't
happened?
I don't think so. I think that did happen where one of my audiobooks turned on by itself and I don't know how and it was in the car, but he didn't tell me like what part it was
If
on
it
or
was
anything. I just stopped it. Yeah.
That's so funny.
No. Eh,
Oh my God.
whatever.
But I mean, I feel like our stats are pretty similar when it comes to
Mhm.
how many books we read. Like
Yeah.
2021. Nice. A nice reading month or
Yeah.
summer
Summer.
rather. Which which is I would think I would have picked up and I really like slowed down this summer, unfortunately. It was hard reading this summer. Like I got into
Yeah.
like this crazy reading slump and then I would start something and I'm like, "Ugh, I'm not in the mood for it." It was up and down for me. How was your summer reading?
It was mine was good. It was steady, I guess. Last summer I definitely
Mhm.
read a lot more.
I
But
feel
I'll
like
go
I read
through
more
weeks
too.
where like I'll pick up one book and that's it, and then the following week I'll finish three books. So it's always different. It
Right.
depends what kind of mood I'm in. Like today I did absolutely nothing. I didn't
hmm
even pick up a book.
I I did audio for a little bit and then I just scrolled
Yeah. I
on
literally laid on
vacation.
the couch watching Family Matters all fucking day. Why?
That's not bad. Sometimes
I mean,
you just need that.
I could have been productive.
I feel like going on our family trip, I read a lot more while on those a few days than
Mm,
probably my whole summer.
wow.
I listened to two audiobooks, finished an arc, and started another one. So like
Nice.
four. And it was like back to back to back. Because like if we were doing something, like I would just put in my AirPods and like
Yeah.
be on the go. And then being on the plane ride, like the kids had to like entertain themselves. They weren't going anywhere. So I was like blowing past like my arc and I was just like, okay, we
Nice.
got
How long
it.
did it? Because I know one of those arcs is Isabel Olmo's book. How long
Yes.
did it take you?
So I had started it actually on Thursday while I was getting my tattoo done. And then I read a majority of it on the plane. I want to say maybe 2.5 days, probably. 2.5, three.
Done.
It's a big book.
Yeah.
It's a big book.
It was my plan for this week.
hmm
It
Yeah.
didn't.
But you know me, like I read the first couple books in like
Yeah,
two
pretty
days.
quick. Yeah. Yep.
This one took me a little bit longer. And I actually when I had posted about it, she messaged me and I was getting close to the end and I was like, I have to slow down and like savor these last couple because I know I'm not gonna get anything anytime soon.
Yep.
And she was like, yeah, savor it. And then I was just like, no, I'm gonna read it.
Oh,
So I
I don't
finished it. So
know.
I want to say like a good 3 days probably. But that
Yeah.
was because like the boys were sitting next to me on a plane, so I got a lot done
Yeah.
that time. And like I said, I had started it and my tattoo appointment was 6 hours. So on and off, I was reading the whole time.
Yeah.
Just so
Maybe
I
next
wouldn't
week.
feel
I don't
like,
know. We'll see.
but
I'll
it
probably start it next week. I know. I
oh.
can't imagine. Like I want to start it, but I don't because I don't want it to be over.
I I need you to read it so I have someone to talk to. I know there's a Discord, but I don't really know how to like work it. And then like I don't know how to put the spoiler part like private as
Oh,
people
I
are
see.
reading. So I don't want to like
I'll
ruin
send
it
you
for anyone.
a screenshot on how to do it.
Okay, perfect. Because like I need to talk to someone. I was I'm not even
Yeah, please
okay.
don't. Please don't. I'm
Moving
not
on.
ready.
Best summer
Okay.
read. What is your best
All right.
summer read?
My best summer read is also my best read of the year. And I talked about it on our, I don't remember which episode, maybe like the half year wrap up or something. And it's Daughter of the
Oh yeah.
Merciful Deep by Leslie Penelope. It's a historical fantasy. And it's basically about these white people who are trying to drown out a black town.
Yes.
And the FMC is like the only one who can save her town and her people. It was really
I
good.
know.
It's definitely my top read of the year
Yeah.
still.
Anytime you talk about it, I'm like, oh, I gotta get into that.
I really wish you would
I
because
know. I I have some of her books and I
uh,
need to read them. I
yeah,
really
I
do.
read her her other historical fantasy Monsters We Defy, which was really good, but
Mhm.
like
That-
nowhere near
Yeah.
this. And then her the trilogy that she has out, I read the
Mhm.
first one and I really like that one too. So, but
Yeah,
that
I need to get into her books. Oh my God, all my books are so far. All
one's
right, we'll put it here. So
okay.
my best summer read will be Love Like the Sun. Love Like the Sun. Oh my God. A Love
Yeah.
Like the Sun. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
right. A Love Like the Sun. Oh my God, my brain. By Chris M. Nielsen. Um, I spoke about this book, I believe, our mid-year as well.
Yes.
This is one of my favorite books so far this year. Like I absolutely love this book.
It's
It's
amazing.
yeah, one of my favorites romances of the year. I just it's fake
I
dating, childhood friends to lovers, opposites attract, chronic illness representation. It talks on
Mhm.
grief and it's just like so phenomenally written and it puts you through all these emotions, whether it's our female main character or her friendship. And it's just like, it was just so beautiful. And I really, really
Yeah,
enjoyed it a lot.
I
And I think
100%
you
agree.
recently read it, right?
Freaking loved it. It was so good. I 100% agree with all of that. I just felt like it was so, like I felt every emotion throughout the whole
Yes.
book, and I really liked how real everyone felt. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing was just over the top. Everything was just
Right.
like a simple, good, well-written romance.
And
I
some
really
of the spice was like really good.
was
Right?
good. It
I
really
really
was.
enjoyed it. How
I
about
enjoyed it.
the one part where it's a dream
Oh,
where she
yeah.
thinks he comes back?
Hmm.
Oh my God, that
I
was
was
so
so
good.
excited for her, and then I was like, fuck, how did I fall?
Right? But that's like such good writing because you feel
Yeah.
like it's really happening and then
Mhm.
it's like, no,
Yeah,
it didn't. And I was like,
that is rough.
jaw
That's
on the
rough when it's a
floor.
dream like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right. So next up is notable mention. What do you have for that?
I have The Truth According to Ember by Danica Nava, and it's a book that I would say it's a beautiful romance, but what's really good about it is that it has two indigenous main characters, and the
Mm,
author herself is also indigenous, and I guess
I
this
love
is the
that.
first time in a romance that both of the main characters are indigenous and it's a really fun romance. When I tell you Ember stressed me out, she stressed me out like, girl. So basically it's about this woman who um she can't catch a break in life. And so in order to secure a job, she lies on the application. And from that one white lie, this whole like snowball effect happens and it gets messier and messier. And there's a coworker there and they have this instant connection and he's also indigenous and it's like they can relate to each other and start this workplace romance, but technically in the company, you're not supposed to do that. So it's like a forbidden romance on top of that.
That
But what drove me crazy is her lying. Like, I was just like stressing out. I'm like, just stop, just tell the truth, tell somebody. Like, oh,
that is
but yeah,
stressful.
it was that made me so stressed, but it was really good. I really liked
Okay.
the book a lot.
I'm
And
gonna
I
have to
love
add it.
that this is the first time, like, in a romance, I guess, that's happened, which was really good. And another good one that I would like to mention is Sex, Lies, and Sensibility by Nikki
Mhm.
Payne. This is another really good one. And the male main character in this book is also Indigenous. And this is about a woman who finds out that she's basically her dad's love child, and her dad really her mom and dad never got married, and he passed away, and in his will, that's how she finds out that her mom was the other woman and she was the love child. And he leaves her and her sister this inn, but it's like decrepit and not a very thoughtful gift to leave your daughter. So basically, her and her sister try to fix it up, and they run into some issues because there's a whole community there that kind of needs part of the property, and it's like this whole thing. And that's how she meets the male main character. But it's a really good fun book. Nikki Payne is so good at retellings, because I believe this is Sex and Sensibility is what the retelling is a Jane Austen book. And
Oh, okay.
so
So
she
so both
modernized
her
it.
books are Jane Austen
Yes.
tellings.
Yeah, and she does a really good job of making it relatable and to our present time,
Mhm.
so it's really good. I really like that one too. So those two are some notable mentions. Add them to your TBR. And
I'll
obviously
have
they're
to
romance.
read
So.
that one because I read the other one, but not
hmm
that one. So
That was
mine
one that
is
I did a tandem read of audio and
oh, okay.
and the book. So
The audio
I
was
like
good
the
too.
audio.
Yeah. All right. So mine is Such Lovely Skin by Tatiana Shloti. This is a YA horror, and I talked about it on our Summerween episode. And it's basically about a Twitch streamer who is haunted by her mimic. It's really, really good. It's
I
well written.
know. I
It's
need to
a
read that.
novel. So good. Yeah, you still have to do it. You have time though, because Halloween's
Yeah,
a couple months away. So you have time.
I know. I know. I'm and it comes out in September, right?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
mid-September,
Yeah.
something like
I
that.
definitely want to read that one. I want to
Yeah,
be scared, but not too scared.
that's okay. I think this
All
one's
right.
like the perfect amount of spooky.
Yeah. So, what was your most exciting read of the summer?
Um, my most exciting read, I actually just finished it this week, and it is Coxtel Academy by Michaela Ornedo and Nell Nicole. Um, it's a Mayan mythology inspired fantasy, and it has magic. It's set in an academy, so it's got that good, like, not dark academia, but sort of lightly dark academia.
Mm,
Um, and of course, she writes a good Mayan inspired story because one of her other ones is
exactly.
Mayan inspired. So this one was really good and I loved it from start to finish.
I'm 10% in and I'm enjoying it. When I got the arc, I was like, "Oh my God, yay!" So I'm excited to like really get into it. I had started it, and then at the same time I started Captain of the Red Bulls. So I was like
Mhm.
tossing back and
Oh,
forth
see, I was the
too.
opposite.
And then I was just like, okay, I'll put this one on pause and read this one and then get back to it. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something I'm gonna be doing this weekend.
And I was definitely opposite. I started Captain of Rebels. I went I got to like the first paragraph of chapter 2. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I need to finish this arc. So I went into Coxel Academy and yeah, I couldn't finish. Like I
No,
couldn't like not put it down.
yeah. It's so funny how we were like the opposites of how
I
we
know.
started the book. Now we both are like, you need to read this one. No, you need
I
to read this
know.
one. Talk about it. My most exciting was The End of an Era, God of War by Rena Kent. It was a dark romance, it's part of a standalone series.
Mhm.
Enemies to Lovers, Marriage of Convenience, there's Amnesia, there's A Brooding Hero, and Sunshine. There was so much build up to the angst and romance of these two characters that when it finally dropped, I read it in like a day. I just devoured it. So that was my most exciting of the summer because it was one that I was like dying to read.
Nice,
And then
nice.
she dropped her book collection. It's so expensive, and I
You
get
what?
it. Get it.
What
Rena
happened?
Kent, she has her own book box collection of it that she's doing
Mm,
herself. It's not part
I
of a
see.
company, it's herself. And it is very expensive. And she mentions that, and it was like a whole drama behind it. But I mean, you have to respect the author, her craft, her funding this. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be expensive. And if you want to get exclusive like things, sometimes you gotta pay for it. But what's great about the way she's doing it is that there is a payment plan for it. It's still
Oh, that's
expensive, but
good.
there's a payment plan. Um, and
Which you don't
I
typically see with book
no, you
boxes.
don't. And I almost did it. I think you have until the end of the month to
I would put money that you're gonna end up doing it.
I don't know. That's
Somebody's
a
gonna post
lot.
about it, or she's gonna post a reminder, and you're gonna be like,
And they're pretty too.
I bet.
Like you would never think they were like dark romance books because they're so pretty. Um, but yeah, I'm considering it, but I've been like holding out on buying expensive things, especially after our
Same.
trip. I'm like, I gotta
Mhm.
reel it in.
I know
But
I can
it is,
only do a few at a time. We already did the Musai series, and then I just did Michaela and Nell's book. I bought their box, so I'll take a little break.
yeah,
A
I
couple months.
definitely need a break. I did that for the Musai series is I think the last like big collection that I bought. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's still up in the air. I think there's still time, but
We'll
we'll see.
see. All right,
We'll
next.
see.
What is the best cover of the summer for you?
So it's not up here. It must be downstairs, but it would be the truth according to Ember because
Okay.
they have both of the characters on it, and I love like the colors,
I do
and
love
it's
that
just like
cover.
it's such a pretty
Really
cover,
pretty.
and I just love everything about it. I just love that it's two indigenous characters on the front cover. The
Hmm.
color scheme is really pretty, and I love that he had his long hair and braids. It's just a really nice cover. So yeah, it would
It is
be
very pretty.
um yeah, it would
All
be
right.
that book.
Mine is You Shouldn't Be Here by Lauren Thoman. This is a thriller where two people are connected by a dark secret, but I love it because the inside is so fucking pretty. Look at that,
Oh yeah, that's
right?
cool. You would never
And
think that
it
was like a thriller either.
you would never guess it. It looks like some kind
No.
of 90s type book,
Yeah,
but
it does.
yeah, I really like it. It's super cute.
It is a pretty book. It is very, very pretty. All right. What is a book that everyone should add to their TBR?
Loud by Drew Afualo. Am I saying her
Okay.
last name right?
Yes. I
Afualo.
think mhm.
Yes, that was so good. I listened to that one on audiobook. It's a
I
memoir.
almost got that one too.
I feel like you should. It sort of reads like a self-help book, but it's not.
Mhm.
It's just like her life and how she gained her confidence and how she started like, sort of targeting these men who attack women pretty
Yeah.
much.
Mhm.
So, you know, if you
I
know her,
follow her
then you know.
TikTok.
Like,
I
so it's
love her.
basically her TikTok, but in her book. And it's
Oh my
really, really,
God.
it's so
I love
good.
it.
I couldn't
I
stop
love it.
listening.
I love her. Every time when she's like, hi, at the beginning of her videos, I'm like, oh, she's about to tear
Right,
into
what's gonna happen?
somebody.
Who we fighting?
I love her laugh. I love like how she's just an awesome person, but the way how witty she is on her feet, because I see clips of like her podcast too,
Mhm.
on TikTok, and I need to finally like watch at least an episode because she's so funny. There's this one particular one that I recently saw where um the person who's on with her, she asked them, "Oh, have you taken any acting classes?" No, he asks her that and she's like, "No." And she says that she wants to, but that she also feels like she looks at actors and what they do and she's like, "I can do that." And I'm just like, you get that feeling sometimes when you see people acting, you're like, I could cry like that or I could scream like
Yeah,
that on a
right.
hard and then you get presented that and you do it and you're like, no, I can't.
No, just kidding.
Just kidding. But it was such a Elle Woods of her where she's like, what, like it's hard? Like it's acting hard, you know? That you have to go to school for this. It's just how witty and funny she is. I love
Yeah,
her.
it's
I
funny.
can't get enough of her. I always like if I need a good like laugh, I always go to her for it.
So definitely listen to her book because it was really, really good. I
I
really
want
enjoyed it.
to.
Book
Oh, my
somebody should
turn.
have on their TBR.
I love like the sun.
Agreed.
Anytime I love like the sun. Like
Just put that one for everything. Yep, check.
I can't. Yeah, check, 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 check. Just add it to your TBR.
All
Have
right,
you
all right.
seen the author and her hair and how beautiful she is?
Freaking gorgeous. She is
Like
absolutely gorgeous.
I am so jealous of how pretty she is. Like not
Hmm.
to say like not every author isn't, but like I don't know, she has this like the vibe through
Hmm.
her pictures that I just like I want to be your friend.
I think
So
she is
pretty.
our friend. I think she follows us both. I think she
You know
follows
what?
the
I think she
Sloppy Book
might.
Club and everything. So we are
Yes,
friends.
yes, we are in our minds and in our hearts. But yeah, she's
She
beautiful and I love
I
her
had
books.
tagged her in a story because I had one of my friends, she read it and she like fell in love with it. So I tagged her in that story and then she didn't see it, but she messaged, she was like, I hope it was good. So I explained it to her and like we were just chatting and I was like,
Oh
oh,
my
she
God, she did the same thing with me. She was like, "Oh, I noticed that you I love that about authors when they like really go to their readers because
Mhm.
she was like, "I'm so sorry. I missed what you tagged me in." And I told her it was like, "Oh, I was just sharing my review and how I tabbed your book." And she was like, "You tabbed it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it's so exciting. You know who did that too? Danica Nava, the author of The Truth According
Nice.
to Ember. She was so excited that she was like, "Oh my God, this is the first time like I've seen someone like actually tabbing it and stuff." So, if you have pictures of your books with your tabs, post it
Definitely.
and tag
Hmm.
authors because they
Yeah.
love seeing it. Those are the two that had messaged me and was like, "Oh my God, you tabbed it." And they were so excited about it.
Yeah. I feel like I would be the same way. Like I would get so excited seeing that. You know, it's
Mhm.
their work out there and somebody's like,
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
highlighting and having your book. I feel like I would get so excited.
Like you really love my words enough to like want to go back to it. Yeah, that has to
Mhm.
be an exciting feeling.
Yeah.
What are the new releases?
So I don't have one on here because 17 of the 21 books I read were all arcs. So they all
It.
released between June to beginning of September. So
Mhm. Yay!
yep. I didn't plan it out that way. It just happened. And you get like a bunch of arcs and you're like, oh, I just want to get these done.
Yeah.
But I really wanted every single one of those arcs that I received. So
Mhm.
yeah.
So A Truth According to Ember I got during a Polycon. So did I got A Love Like the Sun. What was another one? I got a few, but I guess the one that I would say like new release would be Captain of the Rebels that I've read during the summer. Um
Yeah.
and it's not out yet. All the other books they're pretty much out, but
Yeah.
that would be one for me. Captain of the Rebels by Isabel Olmo. It's book
Okay.
3 in a high fantasy um series. Book 3 is more sapphic romance, found family.
That's
There's
enough. That's enough.
okay, okay,
I'm
okay,
stressing out because I'm
okay.
like, I'm
Read
itching
it.
to read it. I know I have one more arc that I'm like 50% in right now. So as soon as
Mhm.
I'm done with that, I'm gonna focus next week on Isabel's book. Okay?
Okay, okay. But yeah, that was the new release, and that's also
Ooh,
for the next question too, a book that made me cry. But I won't.
stop it. Ugh.
Yeah,
Oh, every
sorry.
single one of her books has made me cry, so I know that it's gonna happen again. So
I
I'm
legit
stressed.
was stressed. And I read it on a plane and I was crying. And Angel looked over at me and he was like, "You're ridiculous." And then that happened. And then while we were driving, well, he was driving to, I think we were driving back to the hotel after visiting my aunt. And I'm like, oh, this is a good hour to like read. I like screamed. And he was like, what? And he's driving. I'm like, I'm sorry. He was like, you can't do that. I'm driving. So
Oh
yeah,
God.
she had me
Okay.
going
Ah.
through it.
Ah. All right. I have like 3 days off next week. I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
Wedding. All
And just
right.
text me every time something happens,
I
please.
will. God damn it.
And
All
I'll just
right.
do emoji or something.
So a book that made me cry. I'm gonna do a book that made me cry and happy because it's literally the same book. A Love
Mhm.
Like the Sun. You've already talked about it, but yes, it made me super happy. I loved it. There were so many good moments, and it made me super teary and sad at the same time. Definitely go pick it up.
I love that book.
Yes.
I think everyone should read it. Just
Yeah, I
saying.
agree. I
So a
agree.
book that made me happy would be Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. This has disability rep. It's a surprise accidental pregnancy. I spoke a little bit about it during our mid-year wrap up, and it was just one of those books that I didn't think I would like and loved it so much, and it had a lot of happy moments that like made me laugh and giddy, and it was just like a good book, and I'm addicted to the author now, and now I want to read everything she ever wrote. So that is something I'm in the process of doing. It was just really good writing, and it just like I said, it made me happy, and I usually don't like a lot of pregnancy trope kind of books, but this was a really
Yeah.
good one.
Okay. All right. So spiciest book of the
For
summer for
me, it was
you.
God of War by Irina Kent. I would say would be.
That's a dark romance, right?
Yeah, it's a dark romance, spicy. All my romances are a little bit spicy, but I would say that would probably for this summer be probably the spiciest.
Okay. For me, it was Cocktail Academy by Nell Nicole and Michaela Ornello. Yeah,
Really?
so I think it's more because you get a good dynamic of it because there's two main characters. They're like brother and sister, but
Mhm.
then they have their own lives too.
Right.
So you get a little bit of a dynamic. And because they both
Cool.
wrote it, one
Hmm.
wrote one set, the other one wrote the other. So you get two different types of spice. And it's nice.
I like that.
It was
That
very good.
sounds good.
Sorry.
And it's funny because I think Michaela was the one that I said for our mid-year wrap up. Blood and Brujas was
Oh
some
yeah,
of my spiciest. So
that's true.
I can't wait to read this one.
Yeah. Did you see all the freaking special editions she's getting for Blood and Brujas?
Yes.
So freaking
I
amazing.
don't have
I'm like
enough
so like
money
I know. But that fake rate though, it was good. It really does.
because it's Saddest Fiction has one too.
Yep. And then
And
our
then fake.
Joleo
Yeah.
Sola, we just got
Mm-hmm.
ours.
Yep. It's so pretty.
And
I
then
have it
nice right
right
there. You could kind of see the edge a little bit.
there. But
Yeah,
it was really pretty. And I love that she's getting like book boxes involved and like getting
I
her own
know.
like, illustrations and seeing it
It's amazing.
flourish. Like it's amazing. I love that.
We've watched her grow as an author, like from start to now. It's so amazing. Yeah.
That's the best part of it, is seeing her, get
Hmm.
bigger and bigger. So it's awesome.
Yep. Agreed. All right. So, what was your least favorite book? Doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's a
Right.
bad book. It was just like
Right.
your
And
least
that's
favorite.
how I kind of thought about it too. Because I did read a lot of good ones, but I would say one that I did enjoy, but it's not something like I'm like, you have to read it kind of thing for me because it's not a genre I read a lot of. And that would be Find Him Where You Left Him Dead by Kristen Simmons. It's the one where it's the five friends that went into a cave, played a game, and
Mm,
one of them got stuck in it kind of thing. And
yeah.
it's just like horror and thriller and things. That's not like my go-to genre. So that would be one. Um, but yeah, the rest I really loved. This one, not to say I didn't love it, it's just like not my typical genre. So if it's gonna be put on a scale, it would be on the lower end,
Okay.
unfortunately. But that's just me
All
because I'm
right.
not a horror girly.
Okay. So I have two. One of
Okay.
them, so I kind of went the same route. I enjoyed it, but it was just my least favorite was Dark
Hmm.
Restraint by Katie Robert, and that's part of the
Okay.
Dark Olympus
Yeah.
series,
Hmm.
number 8 or 7, I think. Um,
Hmm.
I enjoyed it. It was just not my favorite. I didn't like the FMC all that much. I did
Okay.
like the mailman character, but I just wasn't feeling it as much as the other ones, I guess.
Right.
It
And
would be
you
my
love,
least favorite of that series, and I love
yeah,
that series.
you
So,
love the series. Yeah.
yeah. And the other one is an actual DNF. Everyone I Kissed Since You Got Famous by May Marvell. And that's a sapphic celebrity romance. It had good banter. I didn't feel the romance.
Mm. When the
I just
chemistry's
wasn't
not
like,
there.
yeah, it was just like, meh. So I think maybe like 30 or 40%, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
You
I
know
just
what
couldn't do
was
it.
hard too to read was How to End a Love Story. That one was a little bit hard too. And that one had to do with grief and um the two characters knew of each other in high school and something happens where it kind of impacts their life. And then 10 years later, they reconnect because she's a novelist and her book got picked up, and he's a screenwriter and he's going to be doing some of the screenwriting for the adaptation. And I feel like it was a lot of being told things instead of seeing it play out,
Yeah,
organically. So that was a little bit tough. Still a good book, but if you're someone who doesn't enjoy that, that could be kind of like off-putting for you. So I guess it was those two for me.
yeah. All
But
right.
overall, like I said, the books are good. It's just like just certain qualities just weren't for me.
Yeah. At what point, because I know you don't DNF really
I
ever.
try not to.
At what point for you would it make you like, all right, I can't do this anymore? Like whether it's
I,
percentage wise, whether it's just like I just don't like this book. Like what is it for you?
it it changes
Okay.
because I can DNF within the first couple pages, or I could be close to the end and be done.
Oh no.
Yes.
No, no, no.
Yes. I could be
Doesn't that
for
bother you?
no, it does
Like right
not.
at the very end, like what?
Carly, what is it? Carly Fortune. Was it
Oh
what
yeah.
was that book? Not Every Summer After.
Was
That
it
was a
Meet
good
Me at the
one.
Lake?
Meet Me at the Lake, Jenny. I was close to the end. I was literally maybe a few chapters away from the end. I think close to maybe 4 chapters, maybe even less than
Ooh,
that.
oh my God.
Something happened, and I kept pushing. I was like, I'm gonna push through because there was a lot of it in the book that I was just like, come on, like it gotta get good because I read her first book and I really loved it. So I was trying to like give her a chance. One part of this book happened. I said, I'm done. Threw it away.
Oh
And
my
I haven't
God, I
looked back. I
can't.
don't care. I don't care how it ended.
Wow.
That one part where he calls her and he's like, he gotta go somewhere. And she was gonna chase him. I was like, you're done. No, thank you.
I can't believe
Absolutely
you gave
not.
it that long.
Absolutely not. That there's another book that I might go back to. I'm 200 pages away from the end, and I might go back. But that
Okay.
was another book. I just the male main character. I couldn't get behind it. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is. I'm trying to read more books by male authors, and it's really hard. And I don't know if anyone else struggles with that, but that is, especially in fantasies, I am struggling.
Hmm. Yes. So I guess for me, like with fantasies, if it's a male author, just from my experience, I go into it like knowing that it might be a little dry.
Okay.
Like Lord of the Rings dry. Like I need to be mentally prepared for it to
Mhm.
be dry. Like Dune, Lord of the Rings, like that kind.
Yeah,
And I have yet to read a fantasy by a male author that's not the same. So
right.
I read oh my God. I forget the name of the trilogy, but J.V. Hilliard, I really liked his fantasies, and I don't read a lot of male authors, and I
Mhm.
really liked it, but it's very like dry, just epic fantasy. There's not a
Mhm.
whole lot of romance.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of variation. It's just all action and quests,
Right.
I guess.
And I and I wouldn't mind if it wasn't like any romance or anything in it. It's just like hold my attention a little bit, or like some of it was just like repetitive. Okay, you
Mhm.
said this part already, and like, okay, okay, that's not your job anymore. You're doing this. So it got really, really hard. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your most highlighted book?
Moving on. For me, it was Elena Bruza's To the Bone. I absolutely love
Okay.
this one. There was a lot of like she writes almost poetically, so there's a lot of like moments in this book, even though it's hard and sad,
Right.
that I highlighted. So
I love that. I want to read that one too. My most highlighted would either be How We Name the Stars by Andres and Origa, right? And yes. And A Love Like the Sun by Russ M. Nielsen. Those two are like my most highlighted just for like emotional aspects of their stories. And of
yeah.
course, Captain of the Rebels by Isabel Omo. That's very highlighted too in my Kindle. Like
I
I
wish I
have very
had the physical book already so that I
yes.
could like
Hmm. That was our summer.
it
Yay!
was a good summer.
We
Not
can't
over
wait
yet,
for
but
a
that's
fall
what
read.
you're getting.
Yeah, pretty much. But
So
yeah.
I think Up next for me is gonna be Captain of Rebels by Isabel
Mhm.
Olmo. And then I think I have another arc, Remember Me Tomorrow by Farah Heron, I think, which sounds really good. And then I think I'm done with arcs.
Nice.
I
I
know.
keep getting denied for arcs, so yay me.
How's your NetGalley percentage? I think you told me.
82. And Berkeley romance is very hard. They won't. I just opened up the email and was like, sorry to inform you. And I could have
Mm.
cried because it was a Kimberly Lemming book that I really want to read.
Oh, her
And
new
then
one.
everyone on Threads is like, I'm the universe's favorite child and blah 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 because they got it and I did it.
I can see. Have you seen that video of that little girl that she's just like,
Yeah,
that's you.
that is me. Like, what do I gotta do, Berkeley? What do you need
Damn,
me to do?
that sucks.
But I still love them and I'm still gonna buy the book, so whatever. I'll just
You'll
have
read
to be a
it.
peasant and get it when everyone else does.
Jesus.
Let me go before I get in trouble.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. It's
Yes,
been fun. We'll
very
see you
fun.
next time. Bye.
Bye.